So let's start for a change by reviewing some of the good news. Today, the FDA confirmed that Johnson & Johnson's new one-shot vaccine is safe and effective, especially against severe cases. Pfizer said this week it will double its weekly shipments. By mid-March, Pfizer and Moderna told lawmakers they can dramatically increase deliveries over the next 5 weeks. And between those three vaccines, we could have a total of 240 million doses by the end of March alone, all of which means there's growing optimism about the course of the coronavirus pandemic and the possible return to some semblance of normalcy by summer. And I got to be honest, I desperately need some optimism. They don't teach you this in science class, but it turns out winter during a pandemic sucks. It's like my soul has a hangnail. The sun goes down at 5. I'm wearing a whole outfit made of SNL swag from 15 years ago, watching 20 minutes of some Belgian Netflix drama before I realized I watched it already. Wait, Detective Bert Janssen? I've seen this. The body's in the canal, Janssens. It's always in the canal.
Once again, coming to you not live from the TV Tan Podcast studios. It is TV Tan Podcast with me, Bill Frost.
And it is me, Tommy Milagro. And yes, our fellow podcast listeners, we're just performance artists.
Yeah, we don't actually do any of the stuff you think we do on this podcast.
We do some things that would be stuff that you would like to do in real life, but we make sure that the performance really takes shape.
Much like
I went Shakespearean with that shit.
Very, very well done. Yeah, this is episode 0356. Is that right?
You are correct. 356 episodes of this fantastic performance that could only rival the genius that is General Hospital. So
what?
Let's see that happen.
All right, fine.
Yes. And of course, what other podcast do you know of that is sponsored by fine libations such as our good friends at Bohemian Brewery, the fine purveyors of the Sir Vesa, that's S-I-R Vesa. Therefore, that means we are fancy as fuck.
Yes, that's what we're pretending to drink.
Right, exactly. And that's what Bill Frost is pretending at this point in the fifth basement, where the pallets and pallets of beer are stockpiled.
Yeah,
as far as anybody knows.
I'm watching the news roll in about the Golden Globes. The only thing of note, The only thing of note so far is that Rosamund Pike won for Best Actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy for I Care a Lot. I can agree with that. She was pretty fucking good in that.
All right, but any word about Peter Dinklage and his awesome beard?
The Dinks? No, not yet. I don't know if he was even nominated, but he should have been.
Dinklage denied.
Yeah, he should have been nominated, but we'll keep rolling these in.
Hang on a second. Yeah, hang on a second. Let me just write in Dinklage denied. That could be the alternate title of our podcast here.
So many alternate titles. Yes.
Dinklage denied a murder podcast.
Hosted by Joe Rogan.
Exactly.
Just got to get those numbers up. Got to get them numbers up. So, yeah. Anyway, there's some cool shit premiering this week. Just letting you know here.
I'm all about the cool shit.
Yeah, Monday, March 1, the day this episode drops, a new sci-fi series on NBC called Debris. Or as we say in Utah, Debris. Mm-hmm. It's about some wreckage from a destroyed alien spacecraft is spread all over the Western Hemisphere, and wherever it lands, it starts fucking with the laws of physics. And so a pair of investigators, kind of a Scully and Mulder pairing, are out going to recover these instances of debris and try to figure out what's going on before the whole world gets fucked.
Now, are we sure it's an alien ship and just not a transatlantic American Airlines flight that's going awry?
Good one. Yes.
Timely.
Yes. Yeah. So so this looks pretty interesting. It sets it up nicely for a weekly case of the week kind of setup, and looks interesting. NBC has a spotty track record with sci-fi shows like this. I think Manifest is still a show. I don't know if that's been canceled or not, but it's still out there.
Well, if nothing else, maybe it'll find life on the Sci-Fi channel. So that's all one can hope for these days.
Yeah. On Tuesday, the return of The Flash on the C-Dub.
Oh, yes! I'm happy with this.
Season 7. 7 seasons of The Flash.
Now, is this the season finally? Or
no, I don't know if this is the last season for The Flash.
Okay.
But apparently they're still trying to save Barry's speed. I thought that was last season or the season before. I've lost track. I don't know.
Actually, that does bring up a question because, last year didn't quite go according to plan because,
So,
yeah. Is this kind of like season 6.2?
Could be.
So this is the back half?
It could be, yeah. We're just not calling it that. Also premiering on Tuesday, March 2nd, new ABC series called Soul of a Nation. It's Black Stories, Black Lives. Basically, it's weird that this didn't happen in Black History Month. Just, you know why? Because Black History Month was also Sweeps Month. And I'm guessing ABC doesn't have confidence in this, that it's going to kill in the ratings because it's on Tuesday night at 9, which is kind of a black hole. No pun intended in the ABC.
I'm not touching that one.
Nope, not at all. In the it's kind of a dead spot in the ABC schedule. So anytime they ever schedule something there, know that ABC is just saying, what the hell.
And for the record, I'd like to say this is Mr. Frost making a ill-timed black joke before me. So
this is a first.
Hey.
Yeah. Also on Wednesday, get very excited for this. On Netflix, Murder Among the Mormons.
I was seeing a little trailer for that on Netflix. I had to resubscribe, which I'll talk about a little bit later.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, about the 1985 bombings in downtown Salt Lake City that were part of a whole Mormon conspiracy with Mark Hoffman. And I lived downtown in 1985, and I do remember hearing at least one of these explosions.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Now, is this like a documentary series?
Yes, it's a 3-part documentary series.
Oh, 3-part. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're going to drop it all at once then.
Yes.
Then...
Yes.
Okay.
So it's got Mormons, it's got bombs, it's got everything.
Even Joel Osteen?
Well, no, it doesn't have everything. Then here on Friday on Hulu, this is a movie I told you about last year. I saw this last year, and it's finally making its way to streaming in America. Boss Level, starring Frank Grillo.
Ooh, okay.
Also in here is Mel Gibson and Naomi Watts. And what this is Frank Grillo plays a former Special Forces agent who's caught up in a sort of a Groundhog Day situation where he dies and wakes up the same, and he's got to fight his way through the same bunch of assassins out to take him down.
Yeah. And the thing that kills me is that Mel Gibson, let me guess, he's the bad guy?
Yes.
Typecasting.
Yeah, I don't know why they got Mel Gibson. He doesn't really do much with it. Frank Grillo is great in this. This movie is, it's action-packed, it's violent, but it's also funny. It's got some touching father-son moments. It's got a little bit of everything, and Frank Grillo is really good in it. Naomi Watts is barely in it, so she doesn't have much to do, but Mel Gibson, I think they could have got somebody better. He didn't bring much to it as the villain.
Now what do I know Frank Grillo from before? I'm trying to place a name.
Frank Grillo, he's part of the Marvel universe.
Okay.
I believe he was in Age of Ultron, and I cannot remember his character's name. I'm blanking completely on it. Something to do with Crossbones.
Oh, okay. No, I know the guy.
That was the
Now I
character's
know him.
name, Crossbones. Yeah, but yeah,
Winter Soldier. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is coming to me.
and so he's really good in this. I would recommend checking it out on Hulu. Also, I've not seen this, but I feel like I have on Friday on Prime Video. Coming to America, the sequel to Coming to America.
Yay!
Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall are back.
See, I'm mostly excited for Arsenio Hall being back in some format.
Oh yeah, yeah. You haven't
Eddie
seen you haven't
Murphy-
seen much of Arsenio Hall in recent years.
I think I saw him on a Netflix comedy special, but that's been about it.
Yeah, I did recently.
really it.
I did recently read an article about how Arsenio Hall basically revolutionized the late night talk show with his show. It was
And-
I watched it all the time. It was great.
And you know what? He really did revolutionize it. He had to force Jay Leno and all the other people to kind of up their game.
Yeah, he was an occasional fill-in host for, who was it, Joan Rivers on her Fox talk show,
Oh yeah,
which I don't recall
right.
it lasting long enough for her to take a vacation. I thought it came and went almost overnight, but apparently it lasted longer than I remember.
Like, how long did Joan's show last?
I have no idea. Why don't you vamp for a minute while I find out?
Yes, and you see, kids, gaze back into the wonderful world of late-night television. And this was a wonderful time in the 80s where Blow was just always at the ready. And stars like Johnny Carson stood atop, while his minions like Jay Leno, David Letterman, and Joan Rivers were all trying to claw at the pie that was network television. Because, see, kids, there were only 3 television channels.
Yeah, and ABC didn't have any kind of talk show, late night talk show at the
Nope.
time.
And then Fox came out of the earth and thus begat the devolution that was television programming, from Married with Children to Arsenio Hall, it could be argued.
Yeah, the Joan Rivers show actually ran for 5 seasons.
5 seasons? Really?
900 episodes. Started in September of 1989, ended on about 1993.
Oh, okay. That's why I didn't give a shit. I was in high school.
So that's long. That's longer than I imagined it was. And I remember Joan Rivers defected from being a almost permanent fill-in for Johnny Carson, and so when she struck out on her own to do her own talk show, she was dead to Johnny Carson.
Cast away
Yeah.
by the Carson.
Yeah, Joan Rivers' first guests were Kim Novak and Marvin Hamlish.
Oh, wow. Who the hell is Marvin Hamish?
Exactly. And I see
Yeah.
also Louis Anderson was a guest. I would
Oh,
like to
shit,
find
really?
find that one. Louis Anderson back in his stand-up heyday,
Oh, there's got to be a YouTube on that.
and various other guests of note. There
Oh.
aren't really. It's an '80s guest list. So there you go. So anyway, yeah, Arsenio. We got off on a thing there, but Arsenio and Eddie are back in Coming to America on Prime Video on Friday.
Yeah.
Don't know why it's
Oh, and-
happening, but sure, why not? Also, the winter premiere and the final episodes of Winona Earp premiere on Friday on Sci-Fi.
Oh, we've got her back in the saddle, huh?
Yeah, these are the season 4 will be the last for Winona Earp. That's too bad. I could see it going
Well-
for a couple of more seasons.
When is this show going to be coming back again? What day is that?
On Friday, March 5th.
Okay. So remind me, I as soon as we get into the green room, excuse me, not the green room, the staging area for our Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Remind me, I need to reach out to my Canadian brethren and see if they have any takes on Winona Earp. I think maybe they may need to come on our podcast
Yeah,
and talk about it.
Ask him about Letterkenny, too.
Oh, well, yes. Okay. I'm making notes right now. Letterkenny and Winona Earp.
I would be curious to find out if Canadians love their homeland shows as much as they're loved down here in the great unwashed Americas.
And you know what I'm also wondering, and I thought I read this somewhere, is there like an effort to crowdfund Winona Earp for a season 5?
That was a couple of seasons ago. Actually, that was for the current season 4. Who was it? The comic book side. Whoever the comic book publisher is, had some trouble raising money on their end. Sci-Fi was holding up their end, but the comic book IDW, people, I believe.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, so they did some crowdfunding to help on their side of the financing for Winona Earp, and they hit it because season 4 got made.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Sunday, this is the show that I've been watching for been watching it for 3 seasons now, and it's kind of the show that lets me know it's spring because it usually premieres around in the same time. Good Girls on NBC.
Oh, okay.
Christina Hendricks, Retta, and Mae Whitman, suburban moms who get in trouble with the local gang and therefore end up having to work for the local gang after they got some financial troubles and they decided to rob a supermarket. But that's the territory of a local gang headed up by the ever sexy Rio. So therefore, you got to work for us, work off your debt for fucking with our territory here. And it just keeps getting in deeper from there. And it's a funny and also kind of a tense show. So I would recommend it. I believe the first 3 seasons are on Netflix. Okay.
Now here's my question on that subject here, because I feel like this. Well, remind me again. When did Good Girls first start up? What year was that? Was it last year or year before?
No, we're on season 4, so therefore doing the math, subtracting.
Okay, so this would be when when liquor was plentiful for me.
Maybe I'm going to guess 2017. Doing the math.
Yeah. So this is basically what you've explained to me is almost like the blow for blow, the plot point for Your Honor with Bryan Cranston.
Huh?
So
what?
Well, it kind of feels the same way. It's like good guys getting in deep with the mob. So
yeah, this is I did finally finish all of Your Honor, and while it was good, I'm going to say Good Girls is a better show.
Even with the juggernaut that is Bryan Cranston.
I know. It's probably blasphemy. I can hear Ted about driving off the road right now. But Your Honor was good, but I think Good Girls is a overall better story.
Okay. I'm totally in agreement with this, and I'm totally fine with that too.
Anybody feel free to come at me on that one.
Basically, what we're saying is we want you to reach out to us via our listener bags electronically. That would be at Twitter at TVTAN Podcast. That would be Facebook, TVTAN Podcast. And, of course, there's our email, tvtanpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Haven't had to say that for a while, you know?
Yeah, maybe we should say it more often so we'll actually hear from somebody.
Yeah. That way they could go, really? You guys are still a thing? What the fuck?
Are you still doing that?
What the fuck are you guys doing? Are you making money? How are you drinking on the job? No, sir. That is performance art. There's a difference. That's how we circle back here. Because we're just performance artists.
Yeah.
Just like Alex Jones.
Yeah. Speaking of performance art, got any sports for us?
Oh, of course I do, if you will hit the music.
And sports with Tommy Milagro. Go, team.
From the sports desk of the TV10 Podcast, we deliver to you only the sports of professional wrestling. A lot of things to really jump into, and, I've been kind of busy of late, as you know. Thankfully, I'm very humble as a holder of an MBA, writing for slamwrestling.net.
Nope.
Yes, that would be what Bill Frost would be doing if he actually had drinks in his hand. But for the rest of you, you know what to do. Drink up, motherfuckers. But we're going to have to report some tragedy here, first of all. From the NWA, Joseph Hudson passed away. Now, Joseph Hudson was known previously as Josephus and the question mark in the National Wrestling Alliance. Very sad news, and apparently it's not stated how or why he passed away, but there have been a lot of outpouring on his loss. Specifically, Aaron Stevens, who some people know as Damian Sandow from WWE. He was tag teaming with the question mark when the NWA was still running at the time. As to why it happened, no one knows just yet. We will be following that story as it develops. But also on the NWA side, and this comes to us from F4WOnline.com, NWA is holding March tapings, and according to this, the NWA will hold a set of TV tapings from March 21st to 24th as they resume original content. And this is a big news because NWA was getting set last year, actually around this time, to hold their next pay-per-view, but again, COVID fucked everything over for a lot of people, including the NWA. They tried to go forward as best they could while still keeping safe in the pandemic, but they hadn't had much traction. They even tried, and I was covering it at the time, tapings with the pay-per-view model with the UWN, as well as some AEW figures. This will be the first time that this is going to actually happen. Now, what that's going to mean, how it's going to evolve, is going to be interesting. What will definitely be very noticeable is that a lot of the talent that was part of the NWA Power tapings is pretty much gone, or at least working elsewhere. Specifically, Thunder Rosa, Eli Drake, who is now in NXT as L.A. Knight. Yes, that's a thing. Eddie Kingston, who's now in AEW. Caleb Conley, who's now working in Impact Wrestling as Caleb, with a K. James Storm, now in Impact Wrestling. Tasha Steelz, I believe she's also in Impact. And, of course, the aforementioned Josephus Hudson, the question mark, because he dead. So a lot of changes are going to be have to questioned and answered along the way there. Huh? See what I did there? Yeah. Anyway, now next up going across the pond, going internationally, New Japan Pro Wrestling and Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre, that's CMLL, in Mexico, have issued a joint statement reaffirming their working relationship. The NJPW and CMLL assured fans their relationship is unwavering, again, according to the Figure 4 online website. And the statement noted that CMLL will continue to be the exclusive business partner of New Japan Pro Wrestling in Mexico, and New Japan Pro Wrestling is proud to issue this joint declaration with CMLL to reaffirm our mutual commitment, the statement said. There is plenty more to come from NJPW's partnership with CMLL in the future, and we appreciate your support. So that'll definitely be very interesting. And it's also been interesting because New Japan Pro Wrestlers have recently also been featured in All Elite Wrestling and Impact Wrestling. Specifically, Kenta appeared in All Elite Wrestling earlier to further his feud with Jon Moxley, and Juice Robinson and David Finlay made their debut with Impact Wrestling on AXS TV. So definitely a lot of cooperation with these big companies, which could honestly give WWE a run for their money. It remains to be seen what that happens. Now, with WWE, here's where it gets a little interesting. They have announced their largest signing class to date with a lot of big-name talent. Among the names is Taya Valkyrie, who used to be with Impact Wrestling, and prior to that, Lucha Underground. She is the biggest name to be signed to the WWE under contract. Now, where she ends up next in WWE remains to be seen. Some speculate it'll be NXT. Some expect she could be called up to the main roster. But another name, and here's where it gets real interesting, another name that was signed to WWE recently is the new women's wrestler Zoe Starks, who most fans know as Lacey Ryan. Now, originally, she was part of the United Wrestling Network, working for Future Stars of Wrestling down in the Vegas area. But she also has the Utah roots, wrestling for UCW Zero. In fact, she had a very, very impressive match on the WWE NXT against current women's champion Io Shirai. I would highly recommend checking that out on YouTube because it's kind of silly for you to subscribe to the WWE Network, which, they're going to be moving to the Peacock soon. So why are you trying to subscribe for only $9.99?
Not a sponsor.
See, why are we even bringing that up? I don't know. Just know that it's going to happen. Oh, yeah, and by the way, this is just your daily reminder. They're going to be on Peacock coming up in the middle of March. So set your subscriptions to, why am I paying for this?
Okay, we've talked about this before, but Peacock, there's a free tier, which I'm sure WWE will not be a part of, and there's two paid tiers, one with ads, one without. And so to get to the WWE Network, do you have to pay any extra to get to that, or is it just simply part of the whole Peacock deal, or do you even know?
Well, from what I've seen, and yes, from what I can tell, you're right. They're not going to be free. See, kids, that's not how dealers hook you anymore. So what is going to happen is they will be part of the other two tiers, the $4.99 with the ad or the $9.99 without. So either way, the important thing is when it comes to the Peacock, they're not a sponsor.
Oh, I blew that one.
That's all right. Don't worry. We didn't rehearse that in the holding room.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it in editing.
We'll fix it in the post. We'll do it live. All right, we'll just do it live. But lastly, here, going to Red Badge of Courage Wrestling, which we all know is, and I'm saying this dubiously, Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
No. Wrong inflection, sir. It's Ring of Honor.
Okay.
And here's why I'm saying this. And this
all
comes
right.
from This comes from SlamWrestling.net.
Them.
What do you mean, oh, them?
Oh, them.
Please.
The Sports Authority.
Thank you. How hard was that? Jesus. A little journalistic integrity. Come on, man. How else am I going to smuggle you guys across the border when the things go downward? Jeez.
I don't know.
Moving along.
Okay.
But
the border is closed between Canada and the U.S. currently.
Not with that attitude.
Okay.
Jesus. Anyway, in all seriousness, Kelly Klein sues Ring of Honor and Jay Lethal named in suit. Now, according to John Powell, my editor at SlamWrestling.net, Kelly Klein filed suit against her former employer, Ring of Honor, and Klein is accusing ROH and its parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, of breaching their contract with her, not paying her royalties, firing her for complaining about pay equity, had no safety or medical policies following her concussion, injuries, and that they didn't address the sexual harassment she suffered at the company. Klein is seeking $75,000 for her medical bills, lost wages, lost earning potential, and, quote, annoyance, aggravation, inconvenience, loss of enjoyment of life, emotional distress, mental anguish she claims to have suffered.
Sheesh,
Also named in the
that's
suit.
that's a hell of a
Yes.
list. I could claim most of that at my former job.
But wait, there's more. Also named in the suit are Greg Gilliand, ROH General Manager, Hunter Johnson, ROH Booker, Trainer and Producer, Joe Koff, CEO and VP of Training and Development, and wrestler Jay Lethal. Klein's accusation against Jay Lethal is that Klein was in a hot tub near the pool of a hotel where the wrestlers were staying the night before an event. Shipman, Jay Lethal, approached Klein and, while leering at her in a way that made Klein uncomfortable, started harassing her by asking her questions about whether her boyfriend was there, if she was staying in the hotel alone, and how long she would be at the hotel. Shipman's behavior made Klein very uncomfortable. Klein alleges that even though she reported the incident to the company, it was never investigated, and Lethal was assigned as an agent to work with the female talent. So, pretty damning at this point. I would highly recommend that everyone, if you want to read more on that, go to slamwrestling.net. That's where you're going to find not only that recent article, but also more on ROH's less than red badge of courage ideals of late, shall we say.
Well, it sounds like they're being a good Sinclair company, though.
Yeah, they are following the new GQP policies now. That would be the good QAnon party, ladies and gentlemen. But no, and the only other thing I've got to mention, finally, this. I have a article coming out pretty soon, which will involve not only covering Major League Wrestling Fusion again, but I will be writing about a review on Dungeon Wrestlers, a webcomic that features, Dungeons and Dragons and wrestling.
Huh.
Because
okay.
it's all about dragons and dropkicks and monsters and men, and that's where our hero Brody of Broheim, that's the name, will learn about the ropes and orcs of the business, because orcs. Am I right, Paladin? Anyway, if you can catch all of that at slamwrestling.net, or you could just go on the interwebs and find out more about the wonderful world of wrestling, because it's sports.
It's sports. Tommy Milagro. Go team. Have some more Golden Globes awards rolling in here. I mentioned Rosamund Pike for I Care a Lot. Best television series, musical or comedy, Schitt's Creek.
Okay, so they're going to be rolling in the awards extravaganza, aren't they?
Here's one. I'm pretty happy about this one. Jason Sudeikis, best actor in a musical or comedy for Ted Lasso, which I cannot recommend that series highly enough on Apple TV Plus.
And he deserves it because Olivia Wilde. Come on, you could do better than Harry Styles.
Emma Corrin won for drama TV series for The Crown.
Okay.
Mark Ruffalo won for Best Actor for HBO's I Know This Much Is True. A fine performance, virtually unwatchable show, but Mark Ruffalo did a fine performance in it.
Not everything can be the Hulk.
Best performance by an actress in a comedy, Catherine O'Hara, Schitt's Creek. Nice. And, best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a series, limited series, or motion picture made for television. Jesus, that's a long-winded category. John Boyega for Small Axe. And that's all that's happened. That's most of what's happened so far. And,
Has Ricky Gervais made his introduction?
No Ricky Gervais. There is no Ricky Gervais. This is a Ricky Gervais-free Golden Globes.
Okay. All right, then. Well, I guess you just got tired of all that bullying, all that cancel culture you hear so much about.
I'm curious to see if the flight attendant is going to win anything here. It's up for a few things, but hasn't won anything yet. I think it should win something. HBO Max. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Okay. And that's with Kelly Klawaka.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And so what movies did I watch? Did not watch any movies, so I have nothing for Bill's Movie Corner, but I did start a new Scandinoir series. That is a series that are set murder. They're not true crime, but they're murder mysteries or serial killer shows that are set in snowy climates. This one's Canadian. It's called Cardinal, starring Billy Campbell.
Okay. Is that Cardinal with a C or a K?
With a C, and he's a beaten down detective. He's got some secrets. He's got a dark past, and he's partnered up with a female detective who is far more interesting and has far less revealed about her throughout the first season. There are 3 seasons, and she's pretty fascinating. I don't remember her name, but she is worth checking the show out for. Billy Campbell is perfectly fine, but Cardinal, it's on Hulu.
Okay.
It's a Canadian series.
See, and you were begging our Canadian brethren earlier.
No, I wasn't.
You're trying now to get.
No, I'm just letting you know that the Canada has closed their border to us, not the other way around.
Again,
I can't blame them. I don't blame them in the least. I would too. I wouldn't let us in there either.
Well, again, not with that attitude. Not with that attitude. For God's sake, just grease the wheels and say sorry a lot, and then we'll be fine.
Journalistic asylum. That's all I'm saying.
That's all we're begging for at this point. Greg, John,
Slam Wrestling, get us out of here. We'll take a rope ladder on a helicopter, whatever it takes.
Is that possible? I wonder.
Sure.
I'll have to ask them.
Yeah.
All right.
Totally possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds legit enough. Anyway.
Okay. I think that's enough. We can get the fuck out of here.
Actually, there is a couple of things I will add to it.
Oh, really?
I will just add only a couple of things I've watched recently, specifically on HBO Max.
Okay.
On the Adult Swim channel.
Oh.
Check out Primal.
Primal.
I think you talked about it before.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, it's Gendy Todorovsky's, the guy that created Samurai Jack.
Yes.
It's a very interesting and brutal as fuck cartoon about a caveman and a dinosaur joining forces and in order to ensure their survival, because that's part of history, science.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, I honest to God, it's like if you ever feel like you're missing out on heavy metal comics,
okay.
Honestly, this is the one.
All right.
And you talked about this last time, but let me reinforce: Superman and Lois.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I will say the guy that plays Superman, who is it? Dylan Walsh or is it?
Dylan Walsh? No.
No.
Tyler Houchin.
That's right, Tyler Hudson. He is truly the most emotive Superman since Christopher Reeve.
Yeah,
yes,
sorry, Cavill.
It's not. Well, and for the record, Henry Campbell, I know you listen to this podcast. It's not that you weren't trying. It's because of Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with that.
Henry, you're better off on The Witcher. Everything's cool.
Yeah, and I will say that Superman and Lois, taking it beyond just the usual truth, justice, and the American way, setting it in a smaller town and a community. While that part's a bit ambitious, let's be honest here. Mm-hmm. You know, newspapers getting snapped up by billionaires and farms getting bought up by evil billionaires. You can just feel the anvil dropping on your head at times. But I would say overall, the things that worked the best, the teens, Jonathan and Jordan Kent learning, oh wait, Dad's Superman? And, of course, one of the kids having anxiety problems like any high schooler would. Genius.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I will say those are the best things to watch right now, of course. I'm going to get into Batwoman next with the new Batwoman very shortly here. So
yeah, it started off. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit. This is a show about superheroes in Gotham, so to say they're stretching reality a bit, it doesn't really apply here. But they're trying to justify some things that it's a bit of a stretch, is what I'm saying. I think eventually they'll figure it out, but in the beginning, it's kind of like, okay, sure, we'll just suspend your disbelief to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
But still, long as we got Alice as the villain, all is fine.
Okay. Even though she would have been the better choice for Batwoman, an unhinged Batwoman. But
no. I think I like Alice as her own self.
Okay.
That would have been a weird twist, though, if she had taken up the Batwoman. maybe that's season 3.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason why Berlanti didn't take our notes on the subject here. And mine was like, yeah, Ruby Rose was okay, but maybe Alice is Batwoman. Yeah, we'll get back to you as soon as we can here, Milagro. Thank you.
All right, we want to thank Bohemian Brewery for their fine sponsorship and their fine beer, amongst our other excellent sponsors. Who they be?
Oh, why, that would be our good friends at Sugar House Distillery, Outlaw Distillery, Ogden's own distillery, the fine purveyors of Madame Patarini Gin, the Five Wives Vodka, the Porter Fire, the Porter's Rye Whiskey, and, of course, the Porter's Peanut Butter Whiskey. And, of course, if you feel like you want to get underground and further underground than the Jägermeister, that's the way to do it at Ogden's own distillery. We've already talked about Bohemian Brewery, the people that have supplied, as far as anybody knows, pallets and pallets of beer over at TV Tan Studios that Mr. Frost finds an endless supply of. And, of course, we have to thank our good friend Ivy over at Booze Teak in downtown Salt Lake. Just know it's okay if you want to go out and check out a distillery, maybe check out a brewery, or maybe you need that fancy as fuck champagne flute from Booze Teak. But just whenever you go to those institutions, wear a mask. Is that too much? Is it? I'm looking at you when I point at that.
All right.
I think we're done now.
Yeah, I think we're done now. So, good night, America.
And, of course, please reach out to us at Twitter, at TV10 Podcast, Facebook, TV10 Podcast, and TV10Podcast at gmail.com. Just take all those social medias, put them down the toilet, and then jiggle that handle, because it's time to flush.
There's only me and my